And we're live. Welcome to Behind the Thrones, Season 8, Episode 2. This is our immediate reactions. We're joined this week by Jesse. Hey, Jesse, you want to tell everybody about your channel before we get started here?
Sure, why not? My channel is called Jesse Miller at the Crow's Nest. Started out with a little pirate theme, but I'm kind of out of flags. So, moving on to some kind of cinema or movie type of a feel. But if you feel like going over there, you might as well subscribe and watch some live streams. It's fun.
All right, cool. Yeah. And send me your channel link later, and I'll put it in the description. I tried to get this up as quickly as possible, so I barely even got my stream lab in there.
I'll just pop it in the chat. It's easy.
But all right. Doku, what do you think, man? Overall, do you want to give the rating at the very beginning? Is that what you were thinking?
I'm gonna save our 0 out of 10 ranking for the end, but I'll just give my initial reaction. I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised by a couple things, which we'll get to. I liked it as well overall. The pacing was a little bit better this time around, which was my main complaint about last week. What about you, Jesse? What do you think?
As a non-combat episode, I'd say it was like a solid 7 or 8 throughout.
Yeah, I would kind of tend to agree with that assessment. I don't know, my complaint about episode 1, I guess I'll go ahead and just say this now because it's a little relevant. I feel like episode 1 and episode 2 are basically a part 1 and part 2 sort of style of episode. I almost wish I would have waited a week and watched them both back to back.
Yeah, but you know that's never going to happen.
No, definitely not.
If you could watch the rest of it right now, you would.
You're damn right I would.
All right. So the opening, was it the same opening as last week? I thought I didn't really see anything majorly different at all.
There were only 2 distinct differences I noticed, and that's and I'll go ahead and just mention this now again because it's relevant. When you see the blue tiles pop up showing the progression of the Night's King's army, now it's moving from the Last Hearth all the way straight to Winterfell. So I don't think we're going to see our Bear Island fight that I kind of wanted to see. And the only other major difference in the intro I noticed is that Winterfell does have some fire pits surrounding it. So, episode 3 is going to be, hopefully holds up to what they've said, where it's going to be a big battle. Shit's about to hit the fan. But those are the only 2 major changes.
All right, well then let's jump right into the episode. So they don't cut, they cut right to the chase. There's Jaime pretty much on trial, right?
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, there wasn't any, we didn't get to see any dialogue with Bran or anything straight away. It's basically just Dany grilling Jaime.
Yeah, and I didn't even notice he didn't have his sword on until they gave it back after the grilling. But so they had taken his sword and they had closed off everything behind him with a wall of people so he couldn't escape. Dany wanted to kill his ass right then and there.
Oh yeah, she explicitly states her how should I say, how much she likes Jaime for stabbing her father and then sitting on the Iron Throne like the cocky bastard he was at that point in time.
Oh yeah, his life was definitely on the table tonight. But I knew they weren't going to kill him. He's going to die in battle.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if he's going to die in the battle, but yeah, like Tyrion, dude, shut up. Just stop talking. That's not the time to speak up for Jaime. If he would have been quiet, Brienne would have spoke up like she did.
And that's one prediction we did have that came to pass, is Brienne was going to be, if anyone, the one person that's going to save his skin. And he's damn lucky Brienne of Tarth was there.
Yep.
What about Bran? The things you do for love. I thought he was going to spill
the beans.
Yeah, that's something I actually wanted to mention in the last time on Game of Thrones before they actually get into the title reel. The 2 things they say what if the kingdom was ruled by a just woman and an honorable man? So foreshadowing that Danny and John might actually make it out through both of this alive, and then perhaps maybe she dies in childbirth later, kind of mirroring Lyanna Stark. I don't know. We'll get into predictions later, but just that little choice of words was interesting, and then ending it with the things I do for love and Jaime throwing Bran out of the tower. Like the theme, I'm just gonna say the theme throughout this episode is very much memory, love, secession, like things lost, things gained, personal progression. Like that was a very, very strong theme, and they weren't subtle about it.
Well, it's kind of like they wanted to get some character building in before they kill half the cast.
And I definitely got that feel from this episode. Like the next one, it's like, oh man, I don't even know whose head's on the chopping block at this point, but there's going to be plenty of heads on the chopping block.
Yeah, so Brienne of Tarth pretty much saves his skin, and then she just walks out. That was kind of weird, I thought.
A little bit, but you have to remember, like, they might have left on decent terms, but put yourself in Brienne's shoes. It'd be kind of weird to see Jaime.
Time to leave.
And it'd also be kind of weird to see Jaime showing up alone after that, right after he drops the ball that Cersei basically like, hey, yeah, my sister's going to betray you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so where does it head next? You said you were writing down the footnotes, so I didn't do it.
Yeah. So now the next thing we get is that little spout between Arya and Gendry, right? Where she's like, "Why haven't you made my weapons?" Gendry's like, "Oh, I'm done after I make a few thousand more of these." And we get that quote from Arya saying, "Oh, I've seen many faces of death. I can't wait to see this one." And as she's saying this, tossing those obsidian daggers like they're throwing knives just at the wall behind Gendry, like 3 in a row. And Gendry gets that kind of little grin and is like, "Yeah, I'll get started on making your weapon right away." It's like, oh yeah, Arya's a little badass. Hey, Gendry.
You guys noticed the dude behind that pole, right? And he just bounces. He's like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
I mean, wouldn't you though? Oh god, I'm almost choking just laughing at it, trying to drink a beer at the same time. Probably not a good idea. But yeah, no, the look on Gendry's face when Arya's just throwing all those knives, or the obsidian knives with pinpoint accuracy, it's like, yeah, Gendry, this isn't the same Arya you remember.
Yeah, well, more on that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because wow, HBO. Anyway, all right, so yeah, he decides, because he's trying to talk her into going down with the women and children, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't get to that until a little bit later, but no, the next scene was Bran and Jaime, not Bran. God, I can't speak tonight. Bran and Jaime at the Godswood. So we can confirm that, yeah, Bran didn't spill the beans. And also, Bran's not really that pissed at Jaime.
Yeah, he's got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, he does. Really, really big fish to fry, to say the least. But I don't know. What did you think, Mad Dodge? I liked that little exchange between Jaime and Bran, because it kind of confirms what we thought when we were theory crafting. Bran is not Bran anymore. He's something completely different. And he almost, in a way, you could almost say he's kind of thankful, but in that really detached Bran sort of way.
Yeah, who is it? Preston Jacobs. When he's doing his reviews, he calls Bran the Bran 3000, pretty much a robot. I kind of agree with him on that.
That's a good nickname.
But the exchange was good. Jamie, I mean, yeah, I would have had to go talk to him too. Like, all right, you obviously know, and you know more than you should. You're already like falling when he said that, right? Because he shoves him out in season 1 and then turns and says that to Cersei. Well, he's already halfway down the tower by then, right?
Yeah, and you could confirm that with the look that Bran gives Jamie when he says that. It's like, how the hell? So it would make sense that Jamie goes to speak with him because, again, two big questions. Why did you speak those words? And why didn't you tell your brother or your uncle technically, or your sister? You know, you could have had me killed right there on the spot. But he didn't.
Yeah, no, and
Because
just
it doesn't matter to him anymore whatsoever. Because like last week, he said, John said to him, "You're a man now." He said, "Almost," because he's not. He's not even a person. He's just going to be the yin to yang to equal out the whole thing. That's why I'm kind of thinking that the whole Scooby-Doo thing with him being Shaggy and leading the monsters in for bait is for not for John to fight him so much as for Bran to do something unknown to us.
War of the Dragon.
I think I don't know. I think Bran's got some kind of secret master plan.
Well, we did kind of theory craft a few days ago, and one of the theories I had, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm thinking that Bran and the Night King, when it comes to the Three-Eyed Raven and the ability to warg on a completely different level besides just controlling people or animals, I think Bran can see into the past and the Night King can see into the future. So I think they very much are kind of a yin and yang sort of dichotomy. Just a theory.
That's kind of scary. Which one's more useful, the future?
Yeah, well, that's also back in the last season. I've always stuck by this theory that the whole thing that happened at the frozen lake was a trap to lure in Dany so that the Night King can get his all-powerful undead dragon to go ahead and torch the wall. But I don't know. Maybe that'll be something that comes up, or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Who knows with this series?
Yeah, I don't know.
It seems like it's moving too fast for a lot of theory stuff to actually take hold now. It seems like if it's not like completely established and led up to at this point, it's not going to happen. You know, like the whole horn that controls the dragon, or maybe what's some other of the big theories out there, like other faceless men. Like I don't think any of that has time to go on now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I tend to agree with you on that. And HBO does have a bit of a budget to work with. A very big budget, but a budget nonetheless. But no, Mad Dodge, you got any more comments on the...
Real quick, I gotta open up my Streamlabs. Looks like we got a donation, guys. So you guys continue while I open that up real quick.
Okay, and I'm just gonna say hi to the chat. Hey, Digital, Antonio, Jacob, thanks for joining us. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of unfortunate that everything's sort of coming to the end, and I would really like to see more. But again, I understand actors and actresses have other projects they want to work on, and HBO has their budget that they have to deal with. So as fans and theory crafters, we're going to be sitting here scratching our heads about things for probably many years to come. But that's not always a bad thing.
All right, so $3 from Jez. He says, when you see digital pollution, it's me. Yeah, I knew that. I watch, I think I'm subscribed to your digital pollution channel, buddy. So thank you for the donation, though. Always appreciated.
All right, so do you guys got any more thoughts on the Bran Jamie dialogue at the Godswood?
No, it was pretty short. So I think we can move on from that.
So the next thing we have is Jamie and Tyrion kind of reminiscing about, hey, the last time we were here at Winterfell, you had two hands and, you know, I was a whoremonger.
Yep. Then I like that he repeated the line, or he went in stereo with him, with her lips wrapped around my cock.
Yep. Again, that's going to be a running theme throughout this episode. Is a lot of callbacks to previous seasons. Like you can definitely tell everything is coming full circle.
It makes me think about how many times Jamie has actually heard that speech in his life.
Probably more times than he cares to admit.
But he's been telling us that since he was 13.
Oh, do you think we'll hear conk 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 again at any point in time?
Yeah.
I hope they do because that was a good meme back in the day.
So
But yeah, it's kind of
is the next scene when they flash over to the wall or whatnot, or the walls of the
Yeah.
castle? Anyway?
that's when Jamie sees Brienne of Tarth getting ready to be the commander of the left flank. And one thing I did notice, they have the battlements lined with obsidian. So if the dead try to climb the wall, I'm surprised we didn't think of this. You know, if they put their hands on that dragon glass, yeah, it's got to be World War Z.
That's a good idea.
No, yeah, I'm kind of surprised neither me nor Mad Dodge came up with that idea because that's actually fairly ingenious.
And you'd have to assume that they have just unlimited dragon glass to do something like that.
Well, they definitely made it a point to show that they have cartloads of it.
Yeah,
So
they did.
and
Over and over again.
probably more dragon glass than they actually have troops to arm them with. So
That's never
Yeah, it's a
bad
good-
thing.
no, better to have more weapons. So especially when you're fighting an army of the dead, if the
Yeah.
dragon glass destroys them, they're going to be
Make more
I mean-
arrows.
yeah. Do you think we're actually going to see them try to resurrect the dead mid-fight?
Hell
I've always
yeah.
kind of been wondering about
Hell
that
yeah.
because that would be cool as shit.
That's why you got to keep
Alright, I
your
got-
heavy hitters alive.
Yeah, they got the budget for it too.
Dude,
I
you
mean,
don't
that would
want
be pretty
no
intense.
White Walker Hound.
Well,
That would be
think
terrifying.
they have
He's
giants.
guaranteed to live through the next episode, though, so that we can have the Clegane Bowl. He's
So
just
do you think we're actually going to
attacking
get
in flesh.
Clegane Bowl?
Hell yeah. Who else is going to take that?
I
big
hope to
zombie
God.
down?
So what I liked about
That's
the
right.
Jamie Brienne exchange is Jamie asked to serve under her, which is kind of interesting. I don't
Mhm.
know.
It was
Throwing it out.
honest. It was really honest of him.
Yeah, it was. And again, I love that exchange. Like, you've spoken this entire time. You haven't insulted me once. He's like, "Do you want me to insult you?" No. Good. Like, they're dynamic, especially just between the actor and the actress. Not even just the dialogue, but the dynamic between those two is really entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so where does it head to next? Because that's a pretty short exchange too. It seems like this episode is full of really short conversations.
Well, I'd say the first half of it is very short exchanges.
Oh.
The next,
We skipped something, even though we have notes, dude.
Sansa, well,
Sansa and Danny.
Well,
They tried
that's
to
the
have
next-
a connection there for a
that's
second.
the next scene actually. So yeah, it's Sansa talking to Jorah Mormont and him basically saying like, "Hey, we've all made mistakes. Do you want some advice?" And then she goes and talks to Sansa, which again, a very interesting exchange. What did you think about it?
Well, all right, so Danny pretty much says, we've been kind of at odds the whole time. I don't really know why. Well, your dad did.
You know why.
Yeah, you know why. You know what you did.
You know why.
what-
You know why.
Well,
Oh, and she
why would Sansa be upset that Jon is in love with her? Because men in love do stupid things. That's just so cliche. I don't know. I didn't really like that line.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying. Men do stupid things for love, something along those lines. And then Danny rebuttals with, "Well, my enemies were to the south, and here I am north because I love your brother and I'm fighting his war. So who manipulated who?" Kind of an interesting little twist, but again, cliched. I'm not going to knock it too hard, though, because it did at least... You could use cliches if it helps kind of build character, especially a relationship between two characters who would otherwise be at odds with each other. So at least it gives them some even ground to stand on.
Yeah, no, and Danny says that she loves John. Have they even been around each other long enough to be in love?
No, exactly. It's rushed.
It is rushed. Again, there's that problem with budgeting and actors and actresses, but I don't know. It could have been worse. It could have been better. Just if we're gonna rate exchanges, I'd give that one a 6. At least they laughed, and it was kind of like, okay, yeah, they're not gonna try to murder each other while the Army of the Dead's at the gates. But I don't know. You got anything else to really say about that scene? Because I don't think there's really much to say about it.
No, I don't think so either. Pretty
Yeah,
much
I guess not. Yeah, they get kind of interrupted, and she has to head out of the room, right?
Yeah. Well, also, there was one actually thing that I wanted, or one other thing I wanted to point out about that scene. Something subtle, but I think significant. When they both went to go take a seat, Danny was the one that sat down first. So she's kind of saying, like, yeah, Winterfell is yours. I'm a guest. So Danny's at least showing her a little bit of respect, not like that whole she didn't call me queen shtick that she used to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Something subtle, but I think noteworthy to point out. But that's pretty much about it for that scene. The next one,
because the whole scene was just basically like getting along, everything's cool. Then no, the whole conversation's erased, pointless.
yeah, Well, the next scene I actually found really interesting. So Theon with his merry band of pirates, well, some of them at least, they show up, and I wasn't sure if Sansa was gonna punch him in the face, but no, she was very, very excited to see Theon, and you could kind of see in Dany's facial expression at that time, like, okay, Sansa might seem sort of like a cold, heartless bitch, but she's really not. So I think that's going to actually cement Dany's view of Sansa in a much better light.
All right.
And hey, what's up, William? Welcome to the chat. I don't know. What did you guys think about Theon's glorious return?
I don't know why
she's the first time he didn't get hit.
Well, no, yeah, and why she practically jumped in his arms, and then later on in this episode, she gives him this weird look. Like, I don't know, is Sansa into Theon?
He did kind of save her from that crazy bastard Ramsay, so maybe.
He's got no dick, and he's sort of related. That sort of related thing doesn't seem to count in Game of Thrones, though.
Yeah, they seem to be very loose around the edges when it comes to chopping off bits.
Yeah, no, I just thought that was weird.
Yeah, it was just forced and rushed.
Yeah, the episode, in my opinion, doesn't really start to get good until after this scene. That's when we get we start seeing the Onion Knight. He's, feeding people. That look when he sees the little girl with the half-burnt kind of face that sort of resembles what's his face?
Shireen.
Stannis. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that look. Yeah, and Gilly notices it too. Like, he sees that. I gotta give it to the actor. Some damn good acting on that. Like, you can see that sort of like PTSD style trauma. Hey. Yep. And then that whole part, I want to fight. Well, you should be in the crypts. He's like, all right, fine, I'll protect the crypts. It's like, little girl's got balls. Yeah, little girl's got balls. Wildlings aren't a joke.
Yeah, no, and I like how the show did that. That was kind of seemed a good nod to Shireen. So,
yeah, it definitely did. But other than that, I don't know. I think the next part we should just jump to is Tormund, Jon's best friend from the Night's Watch, and Beric showing up out of nowhere, and Jon getting completely bear hugged by Tormund out of nowhere. Yeah, that was funny.
Just totally just rushed his ass.
No, yeah, that part made me chuckle.
Yeah, but no, again, and I like how it came from off camera. We didn't see him headed towards them. It was like, oh, he's headed towards Ed, and then fucking he almost gets tackled.
Well, again, that's Tormund for you. He is Giant's Bane after all.
Yeah, and we found out why tonight.
Yeah, that we did. At least it was better than the way they did it in Last Jedi, though. We'll get to that later. But
Well, no, that's one thing that sucks about reading the books and watching the show is I thought they had already told that story, but I guess not.
in the books, I think they have, but I don't think they've touched on it in the show yet. But no, we also get the infamous line, "How long do we have until dawn or till the sun rises?" Whatever the fuck it is. So yeah, you know they're fucked.
Isn't the sun not going to rise then? And they show up when it's still dark, so I doubt you'll see the sun at all next episode.
Oh yeah, I did watch the preview. I don't think you're going to be seeing the sun anytime soon. But I don't know. Anything else to really say, or can we get into the second half of the episode?
Well, no, there's lots more left in the episode, but
Yeah, they had the meet.
yeah,
I'm just saying we're kind of at the halfway point. So the next thing we get is a bit of exposition, about our enemy doesn't fight, they don't quit, blah blah blah. The same thing we've heard over and over again. And then we get this nice little scene with them around a map table, and you can see they're plotting out the defenses. And I did notice the tiles that they use to represent the Army of the Dead are the same style of tiles from the intro.
oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yep, the little squares.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was just kind of an interesting stylistic touch. But I don't know. What do you think? Just because we're at this point and they're planning their defenses, how fucked do you think they are?
Did you see how many tiles there were representing the dead and how few there were representing them?
Yeah, they're pretty fucked. So
And this whole plan of theirs, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about. So, Bran, do you think Bran's plan's actually going to work? I know Jesse said that he thinks he has an ace up his sleeve, so to speak. What do you guys think? Well, he did show that the Night King has his mark on him, and this is kind of something I wanted to touch on just to get your guys' opinions. When he says the Night King's ultimate goal is he wants to erase this world, but specifically they talk about erasing memories. And Sam says, well, isn't that basically what death is? Like, I learned about history and memories from books. You live it. So again, Bran and the Night King seem to have a dichotomy going on here. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think they're two sides to a coin.
I think Bran is going to be dragon food, ice dragon food to be more specific here. Okay, the Night King is going to fly right over and land in the Godswood. That's the plan, right? Theon, of all people, is going to defend Bran. They better have ghosts there.
Well, against a fucking zombie dragon, no less. All right, Theon, I got to admit, you might not have balls, but you have proverbial balls, I guess.
This is a bad idea. And, I mean, can Jon and Dany get there quick enough? I don't know. We saw how fast the ice dragon is.
Well, also, Bran knows that the Night King resurrected Viserion. Like, Bran, what are you thinking? Like, I kind of agree with Jesse. He has to have something else planned because there's no way in hell you would do something like that with the knowledge of there's an undead dragon that could just fly right over.
Unless he thinks that while Jon is fighting the Night King, he'll be distracted enough where he could work the dragon.
That's possible. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Or maybe Arya's fancy spear could come in handy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that also is a nice callback to fighting the waif girl.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot. Man, I need to go back and rewatch stuff.
I just hope Maisie Williams has been practicing a lot because there's a lot of people, expecting a lot out of Arya and some fighting moves.
Well, she seemed to know how to wield that spear rather well. So
Yeah. That's a big part of the budget on a show like this is getting fighting instructors. Can't be easy.
oh yeah, I can only imagine. I know slightly off topic, but I know Into the Badlands kind of had a problem with that.
Yep.
But yeah, no.
But Arya isn't going to be hiding in the Godswood, is she?
I don't think so.
I mean, dude, it's Arya though. Lord knows what she's gonna do. She kind of marches to the beat of her own drum, so to speak.
That's a fair point. I gotta go check on the kids real quick and use the restroom. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
All right. Well, if you're going to be doing that, then I'm going to take the time to just elaborate a little bit more on some of the stuff in this episode. It very much does feel like, and I'll give HBO credit for this. It does feel like we are coming full circle. Like it really does feel like the final season, and this episode really cements that.
Yeah, overall,
just
I
like
thought this was a really good sing around a campfire type of episode.
it really is, and it does remind me a lot of like Lord of the Rings when they're standing around debating what to do before they really head off, like at the end of Fellowship. Yeah, because you know you're walking into a complete and utter shit show,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's a chance that none of you survive, and I got to give them credit. I can't really put it into words because I haven't had enough time to think about it. But you do have that feeling of just impending doom. But it's apparent, but it's not heavy-handed at the same time. And I really, really like the tone of it. I guess it would be the right word.
Yep. I like just a lot of the sitting around drinking type of scenes. Those were the best ones, I thought, because it was really a camaraderie type of thing before the calm before the storm.
Oh yeah, I like to call them the Fellowship of the Bottle. We're all gonna sit around and get drunk. Podrick only gets half a glass though.
Yep.
All right. So have we talked about John standing up there yet? Have we gotten there? Because I do want to bring up Ghost. Got to see Ghost, but HBO is a bunch of bastards, and all they have Ghost doing is just standing there. What, did they just freaking make a fake wolf or something?
It's almost like they forgot about Ghost, and he sort of just shows up like, oh, hey, guys, remember this? It's like, fuck you, HBO. God damn it.
Ghost better, like, kill some freaking whites next episode. That's all I'm saying.
Well, hopefully Nymeria shows up too, but we'll see.
Yeah, but what happens if he gets turned? Can they do dire wolves?
Oh, can't be any worse than ice spiders, I suppose.
God, they will see ice spiders? I don't know.
Probably not. Oh, something else interesting to point out when they're doing the little exposition sitting around the war map. Arya asked Bran if Dragonfire can kill the Night King. And his response I found very interesting. He doesn't know because no one's ever tried. Because we have seen the Night King walk straight through Dragonfire, and we know he's got dragon glass implanted in his chest. Sorry for the spoilers if you haven't watched the episode, but I don't know why you're here if you haven't. Do you think that the Night King might somehow be immune to Dragonfire, and it's going to take something more to kill him? Because it seems like they might be hinting at that.
Well, I would have the dragons attacking all the whites. That's really your problem, right? Is this giant zombie army. You use the dragons like the field of fire and just mow them all down because we know they catch fire easily. That's all that kind of neutralizes the game here, right?
Yeah, I think the Night King has to be defeated in one-on-one combat.
Yeah, it also kind of makes me wonder how would this affect a undead Viserion? Is he immune to dragon fight? I don't know.
No, I don't think the
There's
dragon
too
is.
much. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying that they throw all these little hints out there, but we can sit here and theorize all day on what can kill what. It's kind of annoying how they do that.
Well, no, and all right, so they try and convince Sam to wait out the fight too, and he's like, "Wait a minute, I killed a freaking walker. I've done this. I've done that. All right, Sam, we'll let you hang out with us and die. I guess if you're that
Yeah, that's
adamant
pretty
about
funny.
it."
Oh yeah, and that's how I love that one little part with I always forget his name, but John, the only person who pretty much stuck up for John when he was at the Night's Watch, just saying,
Yeah, the
Sam.
redheaded guy
No, not the redhead, the black haired dude that
with the
somewhat
long hair.
reminds me. Yeah, and
Yeah, I think he's
okay,
like
so
British, Auburn.
did you guys pick up on this? Doesn't he look a lot like damn it, I'm blanking on the name now. Of
He looks
course I
like
am.
Braun to me.
He looks a lot like John's uncle. Damn it, what's his name?
Oh yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah. I just now noticed it, but I was like, wait a second.
Benjamin.
Yeah,
Benjamin, thank you. Yeah, he really does look a lot like Benjamin. I was like, is this intentional or is it coincidence? I don't know, just something random and funny that I kind of noticed.
So, and John's pretty much avoiding Danny for the majority of this episode.
Oh, yes, that he is. We'll get to that at the very end of the recap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, yeah, that part. But I mean, there's been many instances by this time in the episode where she expects him to go with her, and he goes, "Your Grace," and just walks out like, "Peace. I got shit to do, woman."
So, what do you guys think about the Fellowship of the Bottle? Very honestly, in my opinion, one of the most fantasy-esque elements that this show has ever done. Just sitting around a campfire, getting drunk, and lamenting on the past and fearing for the future because you never know. This might be the last time you get to sit around and drink. Podrick,
Yep.
you only get half a glass, and you even get Brianna Tarth to sit down and get drunk with you guys.
If that
Yeah,
was a big
come
half a
out-
glass.
How about them knighting her?
Yeah, that was. I liked that. And the
I thought
name.
that was well deserved.
Oh, most definitely. And the fact that it was Jamie to do it, I just love that scene because if I remember correctly in British history, you do have to have like a witness if you're going to knight someone. So the
Yeah,
fact
I would
that
have
she,
thought Tyrion should have done it though, because he's the hand of the queen.
but Tyrion's not a knight. So if I think a knight actually has to be the one to do it. But I
Really?
liked, yeah, I'm pretty
it
sure
was
that
just
was
any
set in the
official.
lore. I think that was set in the lore of Game of Thrones. I don't know if that's like, historical, but
Me neither.
no, I also found it very very ironic. They say, in the name of the warrior, I command you to be brave. In the name of the father, I command you to be just. But I found it very ironic. In the name of the mother, I command you to protect the innocent. And the sword he's using is Widow's Wail. And she has Oathkeeper. I don't know if that was intentional, like if that was that far thought out, or if it was just by coincidence, but I just found it to be horribly ironic.
Yeah, those are two halves of Ned Stark's sword. I think they should both hand them over to John, but whatever. I guess they get to keep them now.
And they're also both at Winterfell. Yeah, again, there's just a lot of very interesting parallels. I keep coming back to this, I know, but this episode really does feel like everything is coming full circle. Like the knot is slowly being tightened.
Well, and what about that song? That did during the episode, Doku, you had said that it reminded you of Lord of the Rings. I think that was intentional.
Oh, most definitely. And again, with this idea of memories, who's going to be the heir, children, the past, I found the lyrics of the song to also be very interesting because she, in the lyrics, I actually wrote this down. She says she never forgets their names, and she never wanted to leave. So it's like, oh man, episode 3 is going to be rough.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see some heads roll. Like, I'm calling it now. Grey Worm's dead. Don't know about the Hound. He might not die. Maybe Arya will have to kill the Mountain because I believe he is on her list. Do you think Sam will die? I don't think so.
No, I don't think Sam will die. I don't think the Hound's going to die either.
I think Theon will.
Mm.
I think Jaime will.
Oh, yeah, I think Jamie will too.
So is this Jamie's redemption arc right here? This is
Yes.
pretty much it. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so, the other thing, I like that scene when they're on the battlements. I skipped over this. When they say, so now our watch begins. It's like, they really are cementing that this is basically the last time you're going to see any of these characters having fun. Probably the last time you're going to see any of these characters alive.
Yeah, I think Beric Dondarrion's gonna die. It'll be his 20th time dying. I think it's time to go, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, and so before we get too far,
off this fucking wall.
so before we get too far ahead and we get to talk about Beric, Arya, and the Hound. So let's talk about the Last Jedi moment here, where Giantsbane, how he got his name. What did you guys think about that?
I thought that was funny as hell. They explain why he wants such a big woman.
It's really funny. So Tormund Giantsbane kind of having a bit of a dick measuring contest with Jaime because he can tell Jaime likes Brienne. He obviously likes Brienne. Well, he sits there and says, "Oh, did I ever tell you how I got my name? I killed a giant when what did he say? Like when I was 6 or when I was 10, something like that." And then he's like, "Yeah, when I was 10. Then I laid down with his wife. You know what she did? She woke up and she held me to her teat and suckled me because she thought I was her baby. That's how I got big and strong. Giant's milk." Like, oh god, well, guess that's how Luke Skywalker got his Jedi projection powers, but hey, what the fuck do I know? And then proceeds to chug his entire drink.
Yeah, no, I like that. And spill it all over himself, and he doesn't give a shit. I like that horn too. I want a drinking horn like that. That's badass.
That was fucking awesome. And the look that Jaime and Tyrion give each other, like, they're just like, yeah, I guess.
I thought he was doing that to ask for a refill.
Well, he did seem. Actually, I did notice this. He did seem rather drunk in the next scenes when we see the Fellowship of the Bottle afterwards.
Oh yeah, no, and in the chat, that Norwegian guy says Tormund is the greatest character. I will fight anyone who says otherwise.
Tormund is probably in my top 10 favorites.
He tells her that story, and she gives him this look, like it goes from disgust to a little bit of intrigue there.
Well, and also, did you notice that Tormund was kind of, puffing his chest to Jaime? And so when Jaime does do the knighting ceremony for Brienne, Tormund's the first one to sit there and start clapping. Like, I'd knight you 9 or 20 times over, or whatever he says. Like, you could tell Tormund's actually legitimately happy. Like, I'm no king, but my wife could be a knight. Like, that's good enough for a wildling, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he does clap or whatever, but yeah, I knight you like 10 times. Yeah, you want to knight her quite a few more times than that, buddy. We know what's on your mind.
Well, and again, as you said, now we know why Tormund is the big woman here. We know why he likes Brienne.
No,
It
that's
all
great.
comes full circle.
I think Podrick's gonna survive. Because I mean, you guys were saying who you thought was going to live out of that little group. Podrick's in there, if he does survive, and Brienne does also, think she'll knight him.
I don't know. I think Brienne and Tormund are probably both gonna die. I think Podrick will actually live. The only reason I say this, you can see Podrick when he's training the other soldiers and Brienne's watching him. And I'm backtracking a little bit. You know, Jamie's like, oh, he's gotten good, and she's like, yeah, he's got a lot to learn. I think Podrick will kind of, take up the mantle, so to speak, because again, the heavy hints at everything coming full circle. Like someone's got to take up the mantle when the dead are gone and forgotten.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you. I think Podrick will live. But all right. So, is this Gendry and Arya's second meetup in the episode? Are we there yet, or what?
The only thing before that is Arya, the Hound, and Beric sitting on the battlements. And I didn't pick up on this originally, but I just now realized it. The flask that the Hound is drinking from, that he tosses to Beric, that was Thoros of Myr's flask. I thought the Hound didn't like whiskey. Too sweet for him.
I think he just grabbed what he could.
I can't say I blame him. Again, drinking seems to be a heavy theme throughout this episode. Everybody's kind of saying their goodbyes. So it's like, wow, you're drinking from Thoros of Myr's flask. Well,
no, and he was by himself. The Hound was just, like always, drinking alone. And then Arya shows up.
Yeah, and then Beric. I love when Arya actually leaves, though. I mean, again, a very short scene. I felt like there could have been more dialogue there, and I'm kind of disappointed there wasn't. But I just love when she gets up and walks away. She's like, I don't want to spend any more time around you two miserable bastards, or old bastards, whatever she calls them. Miserable old bastards, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, very typical Arya.
Then they just go right back to drinking.
Yeah, no, and let's go ahead and jump forward to the Arya and Gendry scene. That Norwegian guy in the chat says, Podrick got cock-blocked by Gendry. Also, that Arya scene was just wrong. She is still 12 in my mind.
Well, lucky you, Norwegian. We're about to start talking about that particular scene.
Well, she wanted something and she took it.
Yeah. No, and the actress...
It took him a fucking couple minutes to catch on, though, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like she was screening him first. How many women have you fucked, dude? I want to make sure I don't catch something my first time.
Yeah, and the whole time, like, he doesn't understand. Why is she asking me this?
Well, did you also notice how she got her weapon, obviously? So now that Arya's gotten her proverbial wedding ring, one hell of a wedding ring, if you ask me, but she's twirling it around, showing off to him, like, she's courting him, essentially. And you see the look, like, we've seen Arya give Gendry the lady boner look. Now Gendry has the boner look. So it's like she's showing off to him to try to, get him going a little bit. And then, yeah, like you said, screening him. And then she takes what she wants. And we know what that means.
That Norwegian guy again. I expected Chris Hansen to walk in. Why don't you have a seat over there?
Sorry, Norwegian guy. There's no seats left. They've all been taken for the Fellowship of the Bottle, sitting around the campfire getting drunk.
Oh shit! But no, I thought she looks younger than 22. She looks like barely 18. But I was like, I made a comment when we were watching it. I'm like, holy shit! HBO was just waiting on her to turn 18, huh? God damn.
Apparently.
But whatever. I did not see that coming. All right, they got me that time because I didn't see that one.
When she started asking him about, like, how many women have you been with, it's like, I didn't keep count. She's like, yes, you have. Like,
yeah. 3.
It's like, yeah, we all know what Arya's game is here. She's not exactly being subtle about it.
Well, I mean, once the scene started, obviously you could see it coming in the dialogue, but dude, like that wasn't a prediction of mine.
Something else I also did pick up on. Gendry Gendry definitely noticed the scars on her. So when Arya says, "I'm not the same person I used to be," it's almost it is very reminiscent of the scene where Dany sees Jon and the knife through the heart thing. Stark seemed to have this uncanny ability to not only get killed but end up with very noticeable scars.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's not much else we could say about that Arya scene, other than afterwards she had a weird look on her face when it pans back to her, but whatever. I don't know.
Well,
I think
yeah,
she was thinking about the dead coming. That's probably what's going through her head, right? Because she did say this could be our last night alive.
Yep.
Well, and again, that's when we actually get to our final. Well, we have two scenes left. So right after that, that's when we get to the Fellowship of the Bottle has now run out of wine, and we discover that Podrick can actually sing rather well.
Yeah, no, and that song was interesting. We kind of touched upon that already. I thought that was a good part. Especially, it goes out to the people getting ready and the marching out. I still don't know why they're marching outside the castle walls, but whatever. Whatever.
Well, again, going back to the lyrics of the song, when the one lyric popped up that she never forgot their names, that's when we see Arya having that really disturbed look. So I don't know if Arya is actually going to make it out of this alive.
Oh, that would be fucked up. She dies and Gendry lives.
I mean, Game of Thrones has a habit of giving us proverbial gut punches, so it wouldn't surprise me if they pulled something like that.
No,
And they also say she never wanted to leave.
Oh, go ahead, Jesse. I heard you try and say something.
Oh no, I just think she's gonna live through it. I think Sansa's gonna die though.
Well, do you think between Arya and Gendry, do you think both of them will live, or do you think one of them is going to kick the bucket? Oh,
I think they might both make it out of this episode.
but how fucked up? How fucked up would it be if Arya ends up having to kill an undead Gendry?
With that spear?
I don't know where they're going with it, but what if she has to?
I don't know. That would be interesting. Now the final real scene, right? There's Jon in front of Lyanna's statue. Obviously, in comes Dany. It was said earlier in the chat, that look she gives him when he finally tells her, because he kind of beats around the bush like Sam did to him. I mean, he should have just pulled the Band-Aid off.
Well, I mean, he did just kind of. I mean, this all happens within the span of a day between episode 1 and episode 2, so Jon's still kind of coming to terms with it as well. And oh, by the way, you kind of got to admit that, you kind of fucked your cousin. So, whoops.
Yeah, that didn't bother either of them whatsoever. It was just, you have a claim to the throne.
Well, in true Targaryen fashion, they care more about that damn throne than they do about incest. But then again, we're talking about Game of Thrones here.
Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't even come up. Like, it's like that didn't register. Oh shit, you're my aunt. Maybe that would have registered.
Well, and that's why I wanted to bring up that line from the beginning. What if the realms were ruled by damn it, what was it? A just woman and an honest man?
Yeah, well, we know that's not going to happen. But she gives him the stink eye. They walk out, and the dead's showing up. And then she glares at him again and leaves. This time, she's avoiding him. How pissed is she right now? Because they're going to fight dragons together, right?
No, I got to correct you on that one, Mad Dodge. You get the 3 horns, one for Rangers, 2 for Wildlings, 3 for White Walkers. So John looks at Danny, Danny looks at him. She walks away first, but John follows. So they're getting ready to both ride those dragons.
Okay, so they're just worried about the dead out there. Hopefully, Danny shoved that whole throne thing out of her head for a little while.
Yeah, sorry, Daenerys, you're not going to get the same opportunity that Arya did with Gendry. There's not going to be one last night of lovemaking. It's time to get to work. The winter has come. No pun intended.
Yeah, and how many White Walkers are there?
I tried to make a brief count. It looked like there's at least 11 or so.
Those are all Gilly's brothers. You know that, right?
Yeah, well, brothers and cousins.
Yeah, whatever.
It doesn't really matter when we're talking about Craster's children, does it?
So the whole next episode will probably be like this one, pretty much at Winterfell. So I like that because when the opening happened and you saw King's Landing and all this other stuff, I'm like, no, I don't want to even see King's Landing.
And you got your wish. We didn't see anything from King's Landing. And I don't think we're going to see any of it next episode either.
So this episode, even our reaction or review, whatever you want to call this, went kind of quicker than it did last week. That's because it's all pretty much talking, right? And them drinking and just, yeah, the setup for this big episode 3.
Yeah, no, it very much was. It was, again, for likely half the cast, probably their last night alive, so they're getting it in while they can, either drinking or otherwise.
So let's go ahead and give our ranking here before we give a couple predictions. I figure during the week we'll do another prediction thing like last week, right, Doku?
That sounds good to me.
All right. So Jesse, what do you? I know you at the beginning gave it kind of a rank like 7.5. You said, are you sticking with that?
As a like non-combat, non-war episode, just on character interaction, 7 or an 8. But I still feel like I would have liked to seen it stretched out a little bit.
Yeah. Doku, what do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8 just for... Yeah, I would have liked to have seen some more dialogue. I feel like certain scenes could have been stretched out 30 seconds longer, or it would have had a lot more impact. But all in all, I do like the, this is our final night together. Some of us are going to live, some of us are going to die. It had a very Lord of the Rings-esque feel. I'll give it an 8.
I think I'll go with a 7. It's better than last episode, but I would have liked to see it run a little bit longer and have more interaction with the repercussions of John telling Danny that, because they did that and now the dead are there, so now they're just going to jump into the battle. You're not even going to hear a word about it until episode 4, right? So I don't know. I'll go with the 7.
I kind of liked that though, because it's sort of in the back of your mind cements the idea that the Iron Throne is not important. It's not worth talking about because, again, the enemy is at the gates. Winter is here. And at this point in time, y'all don't need to be worrying about who has a claim to the Iron Throne. Like, Danny,
exactly.
you saw the dead. You saw the Night King. He's riding one of your dragons that has now been resurrected. Why the hell are you still hung up about the Iron Throne? You know what you're in for, don't you? So
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't mind that quick cutoff.
All right. So a couple predictions off the top of your guys' heads. I don't know. I think the Ice Dragon's gonna die. I think Arya will take it down with that spear if they're smart and they do it that way. She doesn't need to be out on the front line. I mean, she should be on the wall with a bow and arrow. Why not? She's a good archer.
Yeah,
Well, we also know she's damn good at throwing knives.
But I think the dragon might die. They might just end the whole battle with the dead here, but I don't know. I still stick to the idea that our good guys are going to have to run, and they're going to have to run fast towards the neck and south quickly.
It's possible. I mean, it's just because of the way they set things up, I'm really not sure where they're going to go from this point, because they could take it in a lot of different directions and all would be equally plausible. I don't know if the Night King or Viserion are going to die here. I do think the White Walkers and the Night King aren't going to take the bait and go for Bran. I think they're going to be forced to retreat, and I think Winterfell is going to get destroyed.
Yeah, like the view of the White Walkers, Winterfell looks tiny. The whole episode, it looks like you're in this big city. But from afar, it just looks like something that's just going to get overrun like ants on a Twinkie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would tend to agree.
I think if that's what happens and the main characters have to retreat, somebody's going to give, maybe Jaime gives his life up to go after a White Walker, kills it, takes out a portion of the whites so they can escape and make a run for it. Because remember, they got themselves sealed up in a castle. They have to break out to even retreat.
Well, and that's why the crypts are important. And also, why would Theon mention that Yara only has a few ships? Is that their getaway plan? Like, we'll go to the Iron Islands? They've made it a point to say the dead can't swim.
Probably.
I mean, it would be almost a waste of time for them to spend so much dialogue making a point that the dead can't swim, Yara only has a few ships, but maybe our main characters, our major players, go ahead and retreat to the Iron Islands, and the Night King decides, let me just go fuck up King's Landing instead. Yeah, to see what happens with the Golden Company versus the Army of the Dead.
That Norwegian guy in the chat says Danny by the end will be a villain.
Perhaps. Again, there's a lot of different directions they could take it. It's kind of annoying trying to theory craft at this point in time, because and again, I'll give the episode props. We are sitting on the cusp of something that is going to determine how the entire series as a whole comes to an end. So almost everything's on the table currently.
Yeah, I'm going to take a few days and come up with a few more theories, I think. Watch a few other YouTubers, see what they're thinking. And then when we do our theory show halfway through the week, we'll go through a few more. Jesse, any theories that you kind of have, or are you kind of stuck like we are? I'm kind of stumped.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to die at all. I have no clue.
At the end of the series, when they kill Cersei, I think it's going to be Arya, and I think it's going to be her wearing Jaime's face. And I think that we're not going to know that, and neither is she, up until the point where Jaime walks up behind Cersei and puts the fake hand on her shoulder and just like taps the fingers on her shoulder. And then she's going to realize, wait a minute, that's not my brother. And she's going to turn around and like, knife, 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 knife.
That'd be cool. And they could do that by having her disappear during this battle. She just vanishes. They think she's dead, but she really killed Jaime, and she was there the whole time. I like that.
Yeah. Now she had stolen faces off the wall. So can she just become any face that she takes off of a dead person, or does it have to be someone she killed?
I don't know. When it comes to the books, they have, well, even in the show, right? They had the Hall of Faces. So I think any dead person, right?
Yeah, so if Jamie dies, like that's right on the table.
I like that theory. Let's take a look at the chat again real quick. But I think this might be a short one, guys. And it is Easter, and the kids are still up. So I should probably get off here. Let's see. Cersei still has a shit ton of forces on ships. How will that play out, I wonder? Yeah, Cersei, she could probably beat Dany after this next battle. I mean, Dany's forces, her Unsullied or whatever, they're gonna mostly die. They're right there on the front lines, aren't they?
Oh yeah, that's something else I kind of didn't pick up on in the episode, but we don't really see much of the Dothraki, but we definitely get a good look at the Unsullied, and they are line formation style army.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I didn't even notice that. You really don't see the Dothraki this episode.
Hmm.
I wonder if Dany sent them south to go raid and cause Cersei some trouble. Probably not.
Yeah, but I mean,
them and the forces, the Aaron forces, they're all horsemen. They might be away from the castle and just waiting, to do a flanking maneuver.
it's possible. And again, we did see the White Walkers, but we don't necessarily know where the Night King is. In the preview, we definitely see some dragon action, but I couldn't tell if that was Drogon. It looked like Drogon. But what if the Night King's just not there? And this kind of goes back to my theory that the Night King can see the future while Bran can see the past. What if the Night King's already aware of the plan and he's already raiding the southern areas? Yeah, that is a distinct possibility. He has a pretty damn big army.
Yeah, I have no idea. But I would like to thank Jesse for joining us. You're welcome to join us next week also.
Yeah, man, I love talking about Game of Thrones.
All right, awesome. And of course, Doku. Are you guys? When's the next Exiled Opinions show?
We'll probably do the next one tomorrow night if Chandra's available. I'm not 100% sure, but whenever it is, you'll see us on Exiled Opinions. We'll be simulcasting to your channel most likely, and I think we're also casting to D Live now. So if you want to go check us out, just search Exiled Opinions and feel free to join us. We do a drinking game every Friday. We're all dying slowly, just like the Fellowship of the Bottle. You only live once, so you might as well enjoy it. So come join us and shoot the shit, have fun, and get wasted.
Absolutely. And of course, this is Mad Dodge Productions. I am the Mad Libertarian. We'll be back tomorrow with I Drink and I Know Things. And we had some bad news this morning over in another part of the world. Not a very good Easter for them. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm referring to, but this is the Game of Thrones stream, so we're not here to talk politics unless it's in the world of Westeros. Good night, good luck, and come back tomorrow, guys. I'm out of here.